Good morning, Chuck here at Apple Drains. Today we're going to be doing several sump pump replacements, so we don't really need the trailer so much. Unhook it, let's get started. So we went into Lowe's to look for a specific part. Of course, they didn't have it. It does happen. So we're going to have to go to another Lowe's or a Home Depot to get the part that we need. Hey, good morning. Chuck here with Apple Drains. Today we're out giving an estimate for a basement. You can see this is a split level. If you look closely, got one level up here, another level down below. Basement buried down about 3 feet from this level. Basically, water's been coming in here on this wall, and what needs to be done is we need to excavate from the porch all the way along this wall, dig this out, a little bit around this way as well. Pretty straightforward. That's not a real hard excavation. The difficult problem about trying to parge these walls is where you're going to discharge to, because we need to dig down to the footer, which is about 3 feet below my foot. That's where the drain goes. That's where the gravel perforated pipe goes. When the water's collected there, where does it go? So we usually end up having to put a sump pump in, lift it up, and pump it out here on the ground. We could go this way, but you can see there's a driveway down here that needs to be cut. There is good fall coming over the hill. So which one's more cost effective? In my opinion, a sump pump works better and it's much more cost effective. We can put the pit right here in the corner and just pump it right out onto the driveway and let it discharge down the hill. So the real question, is how much does something like this cost? And basically it's not as bad as you might think. It's less than a couple thousand. To parge this outside wall, that's where we dig down to the footer. From that front porch to this wall is about $800. And basically we're excavating this entire area, putting the soil out here, digging all the way down to the footer. At that point we clean the wall, seal that wall with a liquid rubber membrane, and then we install gravel perforated pipe over here to the side. So that's about $800. To put the sump pump and the sump pit in here is $960. So the total to do this whole thing here is about $1,760. The drawback to that is that we don't do electricity, so you will need an electrician out here to put a GFI out here where the sump pump can plug into. But that's not that much. So, again, to solve the basement problem, people think it's really expensive. Sometimes it is, but for the most part, we're able to get things done for about $2,000. So we're out here on a service call. Someone had called and said that the sump pump doesn't work. And this is a homeowner's job. They did a nice job. They've got some gravel around the outside of their pit. They used what looks to be like a trash can, a small trash can. Not exactly the best pump and pit, but the reason that they called is because their pump doesn't work. And as you look in here and you can see, there's a brick that had dropped down into their pit. If we pull the brick out, lift up the float, this pump kicks right on. So that happens. There's a sump pump down there, but it's not working. You can see it's flooded underwater here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and temporarily pump this water out using our new pump, and then we'll go ahead and make the connections and put it all together. So here's our new Zoller M53, and we're going to set it up temporarily so that we can just lower it down into the pit, and then we'll pump that water out. But regardless, you still have to put in a male threaded 1.5" adapter. It slides right in here, and then you just screw it in hand tight. Yeah, you just screw it in hand tight. And then all we're going to do is push this piece of pipe on here. We're not going to glue anything at this point. Push it down in. Now we're going to lower it in. We'll put a 90 on it, and then we'll put another piece of pipe so we can just pump it out. We'll plug it in here in just a second. Remember, we've got a flooded pit, so we just want to get that water out of there. Hopefully it fits down in there, at least a little ways, so we can get to it. You can see all the water coming into this pit, and the Zoller's just pumping it right on out. Float's going to kick off here in a second, and then we'll go down lower and take care of that. We'll let it fill back up a little bit more. You can see the water coming back here. This is coming out of the channel drain. This water's just pouring in here. There's also another sump pump connected to this line as well, and that just goes into the pit. You notice that it's rising up here. This float just kicked it on. Now pumping it out, show the discharge. See the water coming out at the end. Sounds good. Okay. So we'll start by cutting this discharge line right here, and then when we put it back together, we'll put 1.5 inch no hub so that it's very easy to put back together. There'll be water in this line because there's a check valve, but should be able to get through it. There we go. Okay, so basically I've just taken off the riser from the other pump because this is going to fit exactly. This is a male 1.5 inch adapter. This is our new Zoller M53. We're going to screw it on here tight. Then we're going to put the same pieces back. Here's the check valve. It works with little clamps called no hubs. We'll tighten those up. You can see how it's going to go together. Go ahead and put our clamps on. Kind of cold out here, so hang in there. And we want our pump, make sure it's going to fit the same way. Yep. Looks real good. So we can tighten this one up. Tighten up all of our clamps. Remember that your check valve only allows water to flow one way. We're going to double check. I see an arrow on this side pointing upwards, so we know that we're all set. Now we're going to set the pump back in, and we'll use a no hub, which is a rubber clamp with bands, perfectly watertight, lasts for hundreds of years. Okay, so we're ready to set our pump in place. We're ready to set our pump down in the pit. You can see it's now full of water again, so it's going to be a little chilly, but that's okay. We're going to drop it all the way down. Now all we have to do is make this connection. Now this, we should be able to do it without any problem, but you can slide these couplings back and forth. That's why they're called no hubs. We'll get it to connect here, then we'll tighten it all up, turn it on, and see if it works. Which, of course, it's going to work. It's brand new. Brand new pump. I think we'll do a little adjusting first here. I'm just tightening up my bands so that I can discharge some of this water. I can see what's going on here. Got our power, plug it in, kicks it on right away. You can see it going down, but I need to straighten out that pump a little bit. It's off at an angle. So I'll tighten that up here as soon as I can see what's going on. But you can see that little M53, it pumps 45, 60 gallons a minute, and it just takes it right out of here real quick. Today we're replacing a sump pump down in a crawl space here at this house. It takes about 15 minutes, and we're going to show you exactly how you do that. So we're replacing a sump pump. You can see all the water that's back through that line. That's from the check valve. I'm going to go ahead and pull that pump out. Old pump burn out. Now we need to open up our box. So we're setting up the Zoller M53 male 1.5" threaded adapter. The little hole that it belongs in. Screwed in there good and tight. Just with your hand. As we need a measurement from the discharge of the pump up to our check valve right here, and make a measurement. Go ahead and mark that spot with your finger check and make a good cut. It's going to be right at the top of that coupling. Make a good mark. So now we're going to glue up the riser, stick that into the male 1.5" threaded discharge of the pump. Good. Keep it down at the bottom. Good. Okay. Let's stick it down in the pump, into our discharge section. Push it, twist it, set the pump down into the pit, and you line it up. Perfect. Now we're putting our check valve together. It's good and tight. Good. That's good. Now we need another clamp for the bottom section of our no hub right here. This is 1.5" to 1.25", and we have to adapt to this because this is 1.25" pipe that they've run here. Remember, this is a sump pump replacement. Perfect. Now use your handy dandy drill with a 5/16 inch bit, and you tighten it up. Make sure you're square. It's not tight yet. Make sure you're square into the slot that it belongs. It takes a little bit of practice to get this right. Once you do it, it's a piece of cake. There's 2 clamps to hold your no hub. Tighten them both up. Good and tight. That's it. Remember that the check valve only allows water to flow one direction, up. As it sits in this pipe up here, it won't come back down and spin the impeller backwards. So let's go ahead and plug that pump in. So we've got it plugged in, and you can see the water level going down very quickly. And it's just lifting it up through the check valve, coming out through the pipe and going outside. You can actually hear some of the debris. This is an effluent pump, which means that it can lift up solids up to 1/2 inch, and it just pushes them right through there, no problem at all. Hey, this is Chuck with Apple Drains, reminding you that if you believe you can do something, I guarantee you can do it. Have a great day. Hey, good morning. Chuck here with Apple Drains. You can see we've got some crew here. We got some pipe. Heading over to the checkout. We're at Lowe's. Oh, that's it. These people.
Oh, we can't tell those people that.
We can't check out over here at the self-checkout.
Everything's free today.
Everything's free today.
I'm just joking. I'll tackle you and run out the door.
That would be so cool.